again. This is Paul Feuerstein. And, as you know, I've been locked up in my room here. And one of the things I've been doing in my spare time, which is all my time, is going on and watching some webinars and videos, and certainly spending a lot of time on Facebook. And I came across a post, and somebody posted this thing on Facebook, and it said, some lady came in and broke her denture in half, and I fixed it. And I went, big deal. And I went, wait a second. This is bigger than I thought. So let me introduce you to David Honey. David, you over there somewhere?
Yep, I'm right here. How's it going?
Very, very good. We're about an hour apart. I'm in Boston, and you're up in Chicago, the greater Chicago area.
Yep.
So we've been talking for a while, corresponding back and forth. I've never met each other until recently. And David and I have very common roots in the way we came up before dental school, and with all sorts of IT business and computer stuff and this, that, and the other thing. And David has embraced himself with a lot of the technology, but actually uses it. And not only does he use it, I'd say he uses it way outside the box, which is fantastic. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Dave, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, so I kind of grew up in Western Kentucky there. Growing up, luckily my dad was an electrical engineer, so I grew up around computers. And then also my grandparents owned a farm, so we were always knick-knacking and fixing things. And then as I got older through dental school, I kind of put it off, but I did IT in undergrad. But then in the early 2000s, 3D printing really started kicking off, and that really sparked my back in the day on the farm where we were fixing things and making things. So when the Rip Rap project kicked in, we can make our own printers and all that. So I was building my own printers, and I was having a blast with it. So and then just past couple of years, 3D printing has really jumped on in the dental industry, and it's been exciting. So just to be a part of that. So
yeah, and the printers are now quite affordable.
Extremely.
The problem I have to say before we get started is that people don't understand. A lot of people buy printers. A lot of dentists buy printers, and then they go, "Oh my God, what do I do? How do I?" They thought just push a button and this magical surgical guide will pop out, and they don't really understand how much is involved in the setup. I mean, now it's easy once you get to it, but it doesn't just pop out of the machine. You have to do things to it and post-process it and clean it up.
Post-processing, and it can be a mess.
So anyway, so as I said, I saw David's posts. And what I'm going to do is switch to a little PowerPoint we put together of his post and the pictures that he sent. And I want you to walk through this, Dave. So I'm going to put it up. Give me a second. Let me set the screen up here for a second. Let me find it. I lost it already. Here it is. I have to just bring it up to full screen. And we should be good to go. So tell us a little bit of the story that you're out of your office. You got an emergency phone call.
So yeah, so like everybody else, we were closed down. So, but this patient called up, Debbie. So she's crying hysterics. She's doing phone conferences and all that, and she was eating lunch, and then she broke her denture. So I've told she's been a patient for over 10 years, and we did it all on 6 on the lower. Her lowers were really, really bad, and then once we got that set up, she was wanting to do the upper. But she's been really busy with moves, and she works in the hospital, so she's really busy in the administrative ways. But she was doing all these conference calls, and she was saying that I can't do these conference calls. I don't have my upper teeth. I can't speak right, and I don't look right. And just she was literally in tears. So I had to sit back and think about that for a second, and it's like, well, I've got a solution that we can do. So I had her come in, and what I did was she didn't even come into the office. Basically, I went out and with a sterilization pouch, had her drop it in there and sterilized it. And then this is what we had, was these 2 pieces right here. I tried to use some super glue there, but the way it broke, it actually flexed apart. So basically, when I put 2 pieces together, there was still a piece on the anterior that was flexing apart. So I super glued and composited it on there. And also, if you see here on this, I also put those little dots there. What those dots are there for is for the intraoral scanner to pick up those dots easier to scan the palate. So it'll pick those up, but you can trim those away later. So on the prime scan. I scanned it in, and it did it without issues at all. I mean, it scanned it in quickly, and then I went to the model
I have
phase.
to say that prime scan is something else, isn't it?
Oh, it's phenomenal. It's super fast. I've tried them all. I mean, my wife's ortho. We've tried them all as well, and I have her sit down and try them all. And I mean, that's why she's got a prime scan as well. We're still trying to get her to integrate that a little bit more, but I mean, she loves it. So, but it's just, I mean, the accuracy it produces is, you'll see later in this presentation how accurate it is. So, once we got an STL model, I put it in the Rayware software there, and once we got it in the Rayware software, it took about 55 minutes to print. She also needed this really, really, really quick. So she had another conference call in 4 hours. So you're advancing here a little quick on me here.
Sorry.
So she needed it really, really quick. So I usually print these at 50 microns, but I did this one at 100 microns. And then you see here the resin that we used was A1 Dentica. One that we've already did a shade match for, so she was kind of, I figured might as well do an A1. She was an A2 on her other one, so see what she would be too. So it kind of gives her a little glimpse of what she'll have. So, so when we did the print, we did it on the Sprint Ray Pro. Took 55 minutes, and then this is what you see here.
Explain those little lines underneath it.
So those little lines are supports. So Sprint Ray has been really working on their software, and they got new support structures which work really, really, really well. It's called road support. So, so those supports are basically, you can't just build something from thin air. You have to have something underneath it, like a bridge or support for it to build. So it's kind of like, think of them building Legos. So you can't just have Legos stacking up in the middle of the air. You have to have something underneath it for you in order to stack up on. So basically you have to have something there to stack on top of it, then to build from there. So that's what those supports are there for. So
and it just you know, just as an aside, the people don't understand that this is how it comes out of the printer. So you can't just hand it to somebody and say you're done. There's things to do now.
No. So this is how it comes out. You still have to take it off the build platform. You have to process it. So you can see on the upper left there, that's what it looks like coming out with the supports on there. The support structures on this one peel right off. Sometimes they don't. You have to cut them off. So this is what you get in the middle top slide. And then basically what I did was those bumps, I just used an acrylic burr and just trim those away. And then you had to cure it in the Sprint Ray Pro Cure. And then after we put it in the Pro Cure, I used a Gradia gum shade. It's a samples. It kind of comes with all these shades. I usually do a cutback here on these. So I do acrylic burr, cut it back a little bit, and then that way it's not so bulky there. I don't have time.
If you had extra time, you'd be able to trim it back.
So I just layered it right on top as thin as I could, but where it blocks the white. And then, and then light cured it, and then cured it again, and then gave it to the patient. The nice thing about how accurate that scan was, the patient put it in and it fit perfectly. So there's no adjustments needed. And that's, I mean, there were some sharp spots here and there I still smoothed out, and she may still have to use, but I mean, when she pops it in, it's like, feels like my normal bite, and everything feels good and it's fitting just right. So that's always a good feeling when you're giving it back to them. So when I gave it back to him, I didn't even have her get out of the vehicle. I just had it in sterilization pouch and handed it to her, and she took it out and popped it in, and she was ecstatic. So she had her meeting in 30 minutes. So she went home and had her conference call with the hospital administrative staff that they were getting together to talk about the how they're going to proceed with stuff. So
that's just fantastic. So. Just real quick, we're not done yet, but this is what, if you want to see more from David.
Okay. There should be in the box right there. Sorry about that.
That's okay. That's okay. This is real. This is real life. This is real life. We all have kids home, things going on, and animals running around.
Yeah, okay, so.
Hi.
All right.
If you remember, there was a British reporter on TV about a year and a half ago, was doing a very serious report, and some little kid came crawling in and saying,
"Oh, the wife coming in trying to take care of that was so hilarious about that. That was great.
I mean, this is real life. We're all sitting in the same place, David.
Yes.
So David has a website. It's called Honey of a Smile. I think that's so cool. And
Yes.
I know you're reachable on Facebook. I'm gonna get rid of this.
I'm pretty active on Facebook. A lot of people ask me about 3D questions on Facebook, so you can really reach out and get to me on Facebook. So I'm always
And
open on there.
that's pretty much where I found you. You're in a few forums I've seen. So let me get rid
Mhm.
of this for a second, and we'll talk to you for a couple of minutes and just get a little bit more insight from you. So, is this a new office that you're in, that you're setting up now?
Um, no, I've been in this office for about 10 years.
Oh,
So I've been there since '09. So um, of all things, we are looking at, we were in the middle of closing on land when this whole thing happened. So yeah, we're having to meet with the village and all that, and everything's getting postponed. So it's just like, it's just, it's been fun times.
it's the real thing.
Yeah.
So, what other kind of cool stuff do you have in that office? I mean, you got the printer, you got the Syrac,
Oh, geez. I think I am at now 32 different types of printers. So I got them at home. I got them in the office. I try them all out. So I do a lot of tests for a lot of companies too. I buy them and test resins out. So like, um, geez, I've done large formats. Like I got the frozen transform. I've got the PL poly phenom.
You know, you mentioned orthodontics before. So, are you doing any of the aligner kind of cases with your printer?
So that's something that I am testing out right now. I'm actually in the process of testing actually the printing the aligners, bypassing the whole model phase. So I put some up on the, I haven't put it on Facebook yet, but I posted up on a couple boards on like CDocs and such. But we're getting to the point where the problem is that the software is not, some of the software is not producing the aligner STL for us. But I'm talking to a company in France where we're actually doing aligner software, and then it's actually creating the STL of the actual aligner, and I print that and I'm putting it in, and it's aligning the teeth up. So
I've seen actually in Germany last year at the IDS show, a couple of this, probably the same company, this French company was there, a Korean company was there, and in one print they were printing out 10 aligners at the same time, the entire case, for a cost of like a couple of bucks.
yeah,
So
I think that's that's what we're going to.
the problem I saw with the ones at least a year ago, were that they were a little thicker than you want to have. They were a little bit thick. They weren't as thin as the liners that you're getting right now. So
I've actually got some here that they're thinner than the Essex, like you would do on a suck down.
really,
Yeah,
that's
and
something to look forward to.
they've worked on it, and it's really nice actually. The main problem with the softwares that we're having is that the undercuts are really strong. So when you pop them in there, we're having a heck of a time popping them off.
Yeah. There's a certain accuracy. I mean, people who are doing any type of aligners realize that when you scan it and have the aligners made, they fit 10 times better because they come all around the interproximals. Whereas an impression, it washes out. So you're getting the best of both worlds there.
Yeah.
Well, David, I got to tell you something. You've been a real pleasure to meet. I hope I bump into you soon. I missed you at the Chicago Midwinter meeting, and I don't know what the next meeting's going to be.
I know.
So, we'll keep it around. But I want to make sure I'm going to stay in touch with you. And
Definitely.
from the magazine standpoint, I think we can have some room for you to write some cool stuff, because you're doing a lot of interesting things.
I love doing it. So.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, thanks so much. And thanks for showing me this interesting thing. And stay well. Make sure the kids are okay. Keep them on those Zoom conferences. I assume they're on with teaching, I hope. Unless it's with their friends, who cares?
Yeah.
Anything goes right now. And when things calm down, I hope to see you soon.
Definitely. We have to meet up.
All right, great.
All right.
Thanks so much.